Hi, I'm Mike Christiansen, and welcome to Guitar Basics video number 1. During the video, we're going to be talking about all sorts of guitar playing, from playing basic chords to playing single note melodies. And remember, when you're using the video, don't be afraid to rewind the video, to freeze frame it, to go back and review sections until you can master each section of the video. To begin with, you're going to need some equipment to play the material we're going to be talking about. Of course, you'll need a guitar. Make sure that it has 6 strings on it. Whether it's a folk guitar with steel strings or a classic guitar with nylon strings, doesn't really matter. You will also need to have a pick. Now this size and this shape of pick is the one to use. Probably a medium thickness would be the best one to start out with. Make sure that the fingernails on your left hand are very short. If your fingernails are very long on your left hand, they could hit the guitar before the skin of your finger hits the string, and it'll cause your strings to buzz. So you want to make sure that your nails are short. On your right hand, it's okay to have the fingernails be a little bit longer. In fact, if they're about 1/16 of an inch past the tip of your finger, that would be the best length, because when we talk about finger picking, we're going to talk about using a combination of the tip of the finger and using the fingernails. To begin with, let's talk about the parts of the guitar. You're going to hear me mentioning all of these things as we go along and mentioning throughout the video. It's important to know the parts. This part of the guitar down here is called the head, and on the head you have tuning gears or machine heads. This white piece of bone or plastic is called the nut. The long part of the guitar here is called the neck, and the divisions on the top of the neck are called frets. You'll notice that there's a different color wood glued on the top of the neck called the fingerboard, and the frets are located on the fingerboard. This is the 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and this direction is up. Even if you're holding the guitar like this direction is still up because everything goes according to pitch. This part of the guitar, the large part, is called the body. On the body, you have a sound hole in the front here. This is the rosette, the artwork around the sound hole. This is called a pick guard if you have one. Some guitars don't have them. The pick guard protects the top of the guitar so it won't get chipped up or scratched when you're strumming, especially if you're using a pick. On the top of the guitar here, this is called the bridge. And if you have a folk guitar, you might have bridge pins. On the bridge, there's a white piece of plastic or bone, and that is called the bridge saddle. This part of the guitar that is bent here on the side is called the waist of the guitar. These are the sides, and this is the back of the guitar. One important thing to remember when we begin playing is the finger numbers of the right and of the left hand. The finger numbers of the left hand, the thumb is a thumb. Okay, this is the 1st finger, this is the 2nd finger, the 3rd finger, and the 4th finger. On the right hand, the letter P represents thumb, P for pulgar. I represents the 1st finger, index, indice. The 2nd finger, middle finger, is represented with the letter M, and A is used to represent the 3rd finger. The little finger is rarely used, and we won't be using it for the material in the book. Now, when you hold the instrument, the most important thing is that it feels comfortable to you. And one of the best positions is putting the guitar so that the waist of the guitar is sitting on your right leg, and lean it into you slightly. You don't want to lean it into you too far, or you won't be able to get your hand around it to play it. And you don't want to lean it too far forward, or you won't be able to see what you're doing. And it's okay to look at your hands, the right and the left hand. So lean it into you slightly so that it feels comfortable. One other important thing is that make sure that the neck of the guitar is on a slight angle upward. If the neck of the guitar points downward, you might get in the habit of resting your left arm on your leg like so. And you don't want to do that. Then if you change position or play up the neck, you might have a tendency to do it that way. So you want this left arm to be free so it's not resting on your leg. On the right hand position, the important thing here is that the right hand be relaxed and bring it over so it's just towards the back of the sound hole. You don't want to put it too far forward, or you cover up the hole and all of the sound will hit your hand and go back in the guitar. You don't want to pick it back here too far, or you get kind of a tinny sound out of the guitar. So you want it just towards the back of the sound hole. Now what I want you to do first is I'd like you to stroke the 1st string with your thumb only, and just pick the string straight down. You don't want to pull the string outward, and you get kind of a flapping sound, what we call fretting out. You don't want to grab the bottom of the guitar like this and yank the string down, but you just want to rest the thumb on the 1st string and just let your hand fall, like so. Now pick the 1st string with me several times. Picking motion coming from the wrist. Now, if your first string does not sound like mine, if we're not tuned together, match your first string so that it sounds like mine. And you want to turn the gear down here that has the first string attached to it, and make your first string sound just like mine. Okay, now I'd like you to pick the second string. I'd like you to stroke the second string. And by the way, when I'm playing these single strings, when you're using the video, you might want to come to this section of the video each time you use it and match your strings to mine so that we're in tune through the video. Now pick the second string. And when you pick the second string, I want you to pick it so that your thumb goes down and rests on the first string. Again, you don't want to pull it out, just straight down. Okay, good. Now pick the third string. Now the fourth. Now the fifth. And now the sixth. Now once again, if your strings don't sound like mine, tune them and match them to mine so that they sound the same pitch. Now what I would like you to do is strum 4 strings. Now when I talk about strumming, I mean actually going across more than 2 strings. And I'd just like you to take 4 strings for right now, rest your thumb on the 4th string, and just let your hand fall. Just play it straight down. Use your wrist on it. Don't be real rigid with that, and don't hold your fingers straight out, but just curl them slightly. Let your hand fall. It's called strumming. Now on your left hand, there are a few things that are very important here with the left hand position. It's important that you put your hand so that your thumb is at the back of the neck, about halfway up the back of the neck, and in between fingers 1 and 2 on the opposite side of the neck. Don't bring your thumb over the top. Don't let your thumb go parallel, because one of the things you don't want to do is let the palm of your hand touch the guitar. You want the palm of the hand to be free down here. Place your hand in a position also so that your knuckles are parallel to the guitar neck, so that the hand is in this sort of a position. Now I'd like you to take your first finger on the left hand and place it on the first string in the 1st fret. Now when you put your finger down, it's very important to use the tip of the finger. You don't want to use the padded part of the finger, but you want to use the very tip of the finger. And when you place the finger down, notice how I've squared my finger around so that it's right on the tip, and you want to place your finger right next to the fret there. If you put your finger too low, you'll get this buzzing sound. And if you put it on top of the fret, it'll sound muted. So you want to put it right next to the fret wire. Okay, now pick that note a few times. First finger on the 1st string in the 1st fret. Good, now put your 2nd finger in the 2nd fret, still on the 1st string. So the 2nd finger in the 2nd fret. Try to keep the knuckles parallel and use the very tip of the finger. Now pick that a few times. Now the 3rd finger in the 3rd fret, okay, still on the 1st string. Now the 4th finger in the 4th fret, still on the 1st string. Now go back to 3, to 2, to 1, and then open. Open means that no fingers are pushing on the strings. Very good. Now what I would like you to play is a little exercise called walking the board. It means walking the fingerboard. What I would like you to do is play the open string first, 1st string, then 1st finger, 2nd finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger, and then backwards. So play it with me one time, slowly, on the 1st string. Open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, open. Good, let's try it on the 2nd string now. The same exercise on the 2nd string, beginning with the open string. Open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, and open. Each time when you sit down to practice, run through that little exercise, the walking the board. And I would try it on at least 2 strings. You might want to try the exercise on all 6 strings and take it all the way down to the bottom. Earlier in the video, I had you tune your open strings to mine. But if you don't have the video with you always to tune to, it's possible to tune the guitar to itself. One way to do this is tune the guitar to a piano. Now you can tune your E, that's your 1st string on the guitar. You can tune that note to E above middle C on the piano. If you don't have a piano, you can use a guitar pitch pipe. to find E. In fact, they have a guitar pitch pipe which has 6 pitches on it, one for each string on your guitar. You could match the pitch of your strings to the pitch pipe, or you could tune the guitar to a tuning fork. You can get a tuning fork which is tuned to E, and the way to use the tuning fork is hold the base of the fork, tap it on your knee, and touch it on the bridge here on your guitar, and that will give you the E to match your first string to, the pitch to match your first string. You tune your guitar so that the first string matches the tuning fork. Then to tune the second string, you put your finger on the second string in the 5th fret, and when you play that, the second string should match the first string open. If they don't sound the same in pitch, then adjust the second string so they match. Now to tune the third string, you put your finger on the 3rd string in the 4th fret, and that should sound the same as the second string open. To tune the 4th string, put your finger on the 4th string in the 5th fret, and that should sound the same as the 3rd string open. Tuning the 5th string, you put your finger on the 5th string in the 5th fret, and that should sound the same as the 4th string open. To tune the 6th string, put your finger on the 6th string in the 5th fret, and that should sound the same as the 5th string open. When you get those pitches to match, your guitar should be in tune with itself. After you learn a few chords, you could practice strumming some chords once you've tuned, and if it sounds like this, something went wrong. So go back and match the pitches again, tune your strings so that they match in those frets. Also, I'm going to play the open strings here now for you so you can tune your guitar to mine. This is the 1st string, the 2nd string, open, the 3rd string open, the 4th string open, the 5th string open, and the 6th string open. Now I might mention here that while you're practicing, you might find your fingers getting a little bit sore on the tips of the finger. That's normal. Your fingers might get a little bit tender until you develop calluses. You might already have experienced that from the walking the board exercise. Just want you to be aware that that's normal, and your fingers might just get a little bit sore until you develop calluses. The next section we're going to be talking about chords and strumming chords. Now we're going to talk about strumming chords, and we're going to be talking about strumming down only to begin with. Chords are when you play 3 or more strings at one time, and like we were talking about before where we strummed 4 strings. On page 15 you'll see a chord diagram there. The top diagram is an illustration of the guitar neck. You'll notice that the lines going up and down are the strings on the guitar, with the first string being the line furthest to the right. The horizontal lines are the frets. Now, the lower diagram has a dot on it. That dot shows you where to place your finger on the guitar. The number tells you which finger to place there, and the loop underneath the diagram tells you how many strings to strum. So you'll notice that that bottom diagram has the 3rd finger on the 1st string in the 3rd fret. Now let's hold that chord, and the loop underneath means to strum 4 strings, so let's strum it 4 times down. Ready? Go. Okay, very good. Now, if you look at the top of page 16, there are a lot of chords written on this page, and you'll notice at the top left-hand side, if you have the book, you'll see a simple G chord. Now, the simple G chord is the one we just finished playing with one finger on the 1st string, 3rd fret. And then the one next to that is a simple C chord. And you play the simple C chord by putting the 1st finger on the 2nd string, the 2nd finger on the 4th string in the 2nd fret, and you play 4 strings. Now play that chord with me 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now go back to the simple G chord and play the simple G chord with the finger on the 1st string, 3rd fret, and play that 4 times. Now one of the challenging things here is going to be to change the chords quickly. It's very rare that a beginning guitar player picks up the guitar and just plays. That just doesn't happen at first. You're going to find yourself doing a lot of this. And that's normal for the first little while. But be working on getting your chord changes quickly. One piece of advice I could give you to help with that is keep your right hand going when you're changing chords. Even if your left hand isn't on the chord yet, better to hear this than it is to stop altogether. So when you're changing, say, from a G chord to the C chord, keep that right hand going until your fingers get in place. Now try playing a simple G chord with me 8 times, and then change and play a simple C chord 8 times. Ready on the G? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now towards the middle of the page, you'll see a diagram of an E minor chord. The M by the chord stands for minor. Now the minor chord, E minor, has the second finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger right under it on the 4th string, 2nd fret. Now you'll notice on that diagram that you can play all 6 strings. Strum the E minor chord with me 4 times. Ready? Go. Good. Now the next chord we want to try is the 3-fingered G chord. The 3-fingered G chord is played with the 1st finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, the 2nd finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, and the 3rd finger on the 1st string, 3rd fret. Now you play all 6 strings on this chord. Let's play it down 4 times. Now let's try the 3-fingered C chord. The 3-fingered C chord is played with the 1st finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret, 2nd finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Now try to keep your fingers as close as you can to the fret wire. Sometimes with some chords it's going to be difficult to get them right up next to the fret wire, but try to keep them as close as you can. Now on this C chord, you play 5 strings, so let's play it down 4 times. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now try a simple G7 chord. Now with the simple G7, you put 1 finger on the 1st string in the 1st fret, and you play 4 strings down on that one. Try it with me 4 times. Now let's try a 3-fingered G7. The 3-fingered G7 is played with the 1st finger on the 1st string, the 2nd finger on the 5th string, and the 3rd finger on the 6th string, and you can strum all 6 strings on this one. Let's do it 4 times. Ready? Go. Okay, now you'll notice with with the G chord in particular, there's an optional fingering given there. You can finger that chord with fingers 2, 3, and 4, but I would recommend if you're starting out to do it with fingers 1, 2, and 3. Also, you notice if you have the book that there are some simple chords drawn, and then there are the same chords with a little bit more difficult fingering. As soon as you can, learn the more difficult fingerings of those chords, the ones that have more fingers on them. Okay, now let's play a simple C chord, and let's play it 8 times, and then a G7 8 times, and then a C chord 8 times. If you can play the 3-fingered chords, versions of those chords, great, do those with me. Okay, ready on the C, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. G7, try to keep that right hand going. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, back to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now a slanted bar is called a strum bar, and this means to strum a chord down 1 time. It gets 1 beat. And by the way, when you're strumming your chords down, make sure that you strum the amount of strings that you're supposed to. If you play too many strings on some chords, it will ruin the chord and make it sound as though you're not holding the correct one. Let's try playing exercise 1 on page 17. Now in this exercise, this contains the G chord, the E minor, the C, and a chord we haven't tried yet called a D chord. Now the D chord is played with the 1st finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, the 2nd finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. And you strum 4 strings on this chord. This is the D. Okay, now let's play page 17, exercise 1. Now you'll notice that you strum each chord 8 times down on this, starting with the G. And if you can play the 3-fingered chord on the G, do. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Back to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And G, 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now practice all of the chords on page 16 until you've learned all of them, and you feel fairly comfortable about changing from one to another. The next thing we're going to play is called a rhythm sheet. And on page 18 in the book, you have an example of a rhythm sheet. A rhythm sheet is a piece of music that has the lyrics, it has the chords written above the lyrics, and then out to the side you'll see a fraction called the time signature. Now the only number to be concerned with in the time signature is the top number. The top number will indicate how many times to strum each chord. Right, now let's try the arrangement of Down in the Valley on page 18. This begins with the C chord, and you notice that the fraction out the side is 3/4. It's in 3/4 times, so you strum each chord 3 times down. The chords are C and G7. If you want to play the simple ones, that's okay, but the sooner you can get to the 3-fingered ones, the better. Okay, beginning with the C, strumming each chord down 3 times. Ready? Down in the Valley, take 1. Ready? Go. Down in the valley so low, G7, 3 more, again, hang your head over, still G7, hear the wind blow, 1, 2, 3, and put 1 C chord on the end to end the song. Now there are some other examples of rhythm sheets in the book, and you might want to try some of those. Now, the next thing we have to talk about are called strum patterns. The strum patterns I'm going to be showing you can either be done with thumb, or a combination of the thumb and the fingers, or they can be done with a pick. And before we get into the patterns, let me talk for just a second about how to hold a pick. The pick should be held between the thumb and the first finger of the right hand. You want to bend the first finger slightly, place the pick on the tip of the first finger, and then put the thumb over the top of the pick. And you want to cover about 2/3 to 3/4 of the pick, the pointed part of the pick coming straight out. The other fingers on the right hand, fingers 2, 3, and 4, should be curled slightly. When you put the pick into position, bring the hand over so that the pick is pointing straight into the strings, and tilt the pick upward slightly. You don't want to hit the strings at a right angle or it might snag the strings. You want to tilt it up slightly, and maybe just a little bit of a tilt forward. Now you'll notice how my fingers 2, 3, and 4 are curled and touching the face of the guitar. You don't want to grab the bottom of the guitar. You don't want to leave them straight out and glued down. Because when you strum across, you want the hand to be free. You want the motion to come from the wrist. Now what I would like you to do is play 4 strings and strum 4 strings down with me. So rest the pick on the 4th string. Now just let the hand fall. 4 strings open. Just strum it down a few times. Okay, now you don't want to hold the pick too tightly or it'll snag the strings. To get that sound, and you don't want to hold the pick too loose or it'll fall in the sound hole or fall out of your fingers. So you want to hold the pick between the thumb and the first finger. Now with the strum patterns we're going to be doing, like I mentioned, you can use either the pick or a combination of the thumb and the fingers. I'm going to be using a pick though. Before we get into the patterns, there are a few terms in the reading of music that you'll want to be sure that you understand before we go on. On page 19 you'll see an example there of some measures. Now, music has 5 lines and 4 spaces. This is called a staff. Now, this staff is divided into sections with bar lines, the straight up and down lines, and the distance in between those lines is called a measure. Now, inside each measure, there are so many beats. Now, a beat is a measurement of time or the pulse of the music. At the beginning of the song, you'll see a fraction there, like a 4/4. Now, the top number will tell you how many beats there are in a measure. So if you're playing a song and it's in 4/4 time, the top number being down, the simplest strum pattern you can do for 4/4 is to strum down 4 times in every measure. So it'd be, if a song is in 3/4 time, with the top number being 3, you'd strum down 3 times in every measure. Now I would recommend that if you have the book that you try some of the exercises on page 20 that have measures written on them, and go to the back of the book and try some of the songs from the songs section, just strumming down 4 times in a measure if it's 4/4, and down 3 times in a measure if it's in 3/4. Now, just strumming down all of the time will get to be a little bit boring. Up till now, maybe it's been a challenge, but it might get a little bit boring later on. So you can do strum patterns by combining a down strum with an up strum. Now, it's important when you strum up, when you're holding whatever chord you might be playing, when you strum up, only play 2 or 3 strings when you strum up. Don't strum up and get all of the strings. It'll sound bad if you do that. Just up and get 2 or 3 strings when you strum up, no matter what the chord is. When you strum down, get the number of strings that you're supposed to, but when you strum up, only 2 or 3. Now, if you're not using a pick, the down-up strum can be done with the thumb or the thumb and the fingers. You could strum down with the thumb and then up with the side of the thumb. Or you could use the first finger to do the down-up strum. Now remember the slanted line that was called a strum bar meant to strum a chord down one time. Now if you have 2 of these strum bars connected together with a beam, this means to strum down up. The marks on the top of the strum bars are just a reminder of the direction of the strum, down and up. Now there's an exercise at the bottom of page 21 I'd like you to try with me. Hold a G chord and practice this strum pattern. You'll notice it's down, down, up, down, down, up. Okay, holding G. Ready, go. Now, the exercise at the top of page 22, you hold an E minor chord and strum it down, up 4 times, then a D chord, then C, then D, then E minor. Okay, down, up 4 times on each one of those chords, beginning on E minor. Ready, go. It's going to be a real challenge to change chords right after you've finished strumming the last chord up. Also notice that the up strums come in between the beat. The down strums are on the beat of the measure, and the up strums are on the and, or on the upbeat. In the middle of page 22, you can see some strum patterns that are written there. These can be used to play almost anything, sheet music, songs out of songbooks, the songs from the song section of this book. These strum patterns can be used to play a whole variety of music. Now, I've divided them into groups, all of the strum patterns that work for 4/4, and then the patterns that work for 3/4 time. Now, take a look with me at pattern number 1. Again, this can be used to play any song in 4/4 time. It's the simplest of the strum patterns. It's just down 4 times in a measure. Down, 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 down. Hold a G chord with me and practice it 4 times down. Ready, go. Okay, and the rhythm is very simple. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, pattern number 2 can be used also to play anything that's in 4/4 time. This pattern goes down, down, up, down, down. Now, notice the rhythm on this is 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now, if you're tapping your foot on the beat, the up strum is done when your foot is up. So you'd have down, down, up, down, down. One more time holding a G on pattern number 2. Ready, go. Down, down, up, down, down. The rhythm, remember, is 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now, this can be used to play any song that's in 4/4 time. So can pattern number 3. Now, pattern number 3, hold a G chord with me and try pattern number 3. It's down, down, up, down, down, up. Ready, go. Down, down,